everybody doing? My name is Augie with VIP Playlist. I'm here with my all hoot and no holler co-host.
Oh, I like that. It's Adam, what's up, guys?
I had somebody send me a list that they wanted me to do. So,
Yeah, that's a good start.
today we have. Do you want to introduce yourself? What you do for your band and what you do for the band?
Yeah, my name is Barry, and I am the lead singer and primary lyricist for Sister Sleep.
Sweet. Y'all just did a show or a couple shows with Pulses, correct?
Yeah, we did a show with Pulses a couple months back.
That's
It
sick.
was yeah, it was phenomenal. They are such an amazing group of people. They're
Yeah.
so awesome.
We're a Pulses Stand podcast over here. We love those dudes.
Yeah,
Hell
the
yeah,
boys.
Yeah,
as you should be. They're sick.
they've been nothing but nice to us since I started
Same,
this thing. So,
same. And their new album is phenomenal.
oh, absolutely.
Also,
They never
yeah,
miss.
truly, yeah, they're great.
Does that mean y'all are from the Virginia area?
Not at all, actually.
Oh,
Oh,
Atlanta.
wow.
Yeah, Atlanta. Yeah, we're
Atlanta,
from
Georgia. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I'm the worst with geology,
You're fine. No, 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 you're good.
geography.
Me too.
Geography in this
I don't
case.
even know the correct fucking term
I-
for it. All
Geography, sir.
right? I'm terrible with rocks. All right.
That too.
Yeah.
I'm terrible with geography though too, because like I forget certain states exist like half the time. So
Yeah. Oh,
until
dude.
somebody, yeah,
Absolutely. The one state that I never remember is Connecticut. I completely forget that's a fucking state all the time.
yeah, that's one for me too. I think actually,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's weird.
They out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So let's name your playlist. Do you want to, if you need to wait to the like near the end to name this thing, you can.
actually, like you said it, and I was like, oh, I went through like my notes on my phone where I was like, because I'll like write down random sayings and stuff, and I'm like, oh, that might be a cool song title or something like that if I got it from a movie or a show. And I was watching the new Mike Flanagan show, The Fall of the House of Usher. I don't know
Okay.
if you've heard it. It's like on Netflix. It's like a horror show.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
and there was something. There was a line about a character being like Gucci Caligula. Um, and
That's
I think that would be a good, yeah, Gucci
that's
Caligula.
good. I like that.
Yeah, it's a great name.
It's very good.
Yeah. I love that.
Thank you.
Y'all take notes, all right? Write good names in your phones.
Yeah, man. Take good notes.
Seriously. Okay, yeah, like so often, it's like it'll be something I'm watching or even a conversation, like an inside joke or anything, and I'm like, oh wait, no, wait, let's say that again. Let me write that down just in case.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
The first couple of artists we like to put on here are from like maybe something your parents or guardians showed you, maybe something that
Okay.
you didn't choose, just something that was shown to you at a very young age that kind of stuck with you throughout the years.
Probably. I'm trying to think of things that like were showed to me as a kid that I still actively listen to every now and then.
You don't necessarily have to
Um,
still listen to it, just something that
Yeah.
resonated or clicked.
Okay.
Something that
Uh,
very is a very distinct memory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
Okay. Cool. Okay. Cool. Um, I would say. Oh God, what's the artist's name? Hold on, I'm trying to. It was like a CD my mom used to play all the time.
Mhm.
We used to love it. Don Henley. It was Dirty Laundry by Don Henley as a kid.
nice. That's a
Yeah,
first.
yeah,
That is a first.
yeah. Like that song is one of like that song specifically was one I remember like listening to on repeat as like a little kid in the
Ooh.
car, and stuff like that. And Rod Stewart was like a big,
Okay.
yeah. John Lennon even a bunch as a kid. Elton John,
Ooh,
stuff
Elton
like that.
John.
Elton John's
Yeah,
good.
Elton John's so good.
Oh,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
amazing.
Hot take. Elton John is so good.
Yeah, I mean, I know dude's probably got more Grammys than ever even dream of having, but
Right, yeah. Well
I
deserved.
still feel like he's a tad underrated when it comes to talking
You
about
know,
like
I
legendary
yeah.
musicians.
I could agree with that actually.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Somehow.
Somehow, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's
I,
right, but yeah.
He's just when you talk about like the greats, I think he's hardly ever brought up.
it might honestly though, it might have something to do with him still being alive.
That's you know what?
That's true.
Straight
As
up,
sad as that is
Unfortunately,
to
that's
say,
true.
as sad
No,
as that
like
is to
straight up.
say. No,
And I
for
hope
real.
I mean, no, like I mean, I'm glad he is still alive, but like I
Oh,
do think
absolutely.
it's one of those things where when people talk about legends and stuff like
Mhm.
that, I think subconsciously people tend to put more weight on artists that aren't around anymore,
For
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
um, which is interesting. Like you do it without thinking about it, I think, and
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
my girlfriend's a huge fan. I'm pretty sure she went to, I don't know, within the last couple of years, one of his five last tours that every time he keeps saying this is it, and
Yeah,
then
no,
does it again, and it's like, okay, buddy.
no, no, I definitely wish I could have seen him as well because like that's really cool. That's like a bucket list thing
Hmm.
For
for
sure.
sure.
Well, let's
But
go
yeah,
with Rod Stewart, and then we'll get an Elton John song.
okay. So let's see. So you want me to give you a Rod Stewart and then an Elton John song, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, for Rod Stewart, I'm gonna say "Forever Young."
It's a good song.
It is. It's a great song.
Surprisingly, we haven't had any Rod Stewart on this.
Nope.
Out of all the, we haven't even had any Elton John. All right,
Wow,
Yeah,
two firsts.
that's
We're out here.
criminal. That's criminal. All right,
that one
three
surprises
first,
me more that we
three
haven't had Elton
first.
John. Yeah,
Game changer.
this is good.
Yeah,
Elton John's actually a little more difficult. Like,
yeah.
there's so much to choose from.
Mm. You can pick more than one, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Maybe Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, and my gut's telling me to say Tiny Dancer because it's just such a classic song.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just, yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna go with.
You know, stick with it. Stick with the guts.
Yeah. Yeah, like most of those artists were the ones growing up with my mom, the stuff that she
Mhm.
was like super into. My dad, who I didn't see too much growing up, but it still had some like formative memories with. It was more of I think of stuff like AC/DC and like Ozzy Osbourne and stuff like that.
Okay, the
Yeah,
classics.
Yeah.
absolutely.
You can get a song from each one of those.
Yeah,
Okay.
Whatever resonated with you.
Yeah. Ozzy Osbourne, I think I'm gonna actually go with No More Tears.
Okay.
One because it's like not a super obvious one, but it's that album I remember was the first one like we like listened to in the like car all the time as well.
you know,
Right.
it really shocks me about Ozzy Osbourne is how long his fucking songs are.
So you're so right.
I don't remember
No, you're
them
so
being
right.
that long as a kid. And then I look at it and I'm like, that's a
Same.
7 fucking minute song.
It's also like
Yeah.
compared to now where like most songs are like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Like, yeah, no, his average song length is like 6.
That's insane to me because I
It's
don't
crazy.
remember them being that fucking long.
No, me either. It's bizarre. AC/DC, I'm just gonna go with Back in Black because that's probably their best song.
Yeah.
Right
Arguably.
on.
It's such
Yeah.
a sick song. It's just yeah.
My brother saw them their last show.
Oh wow, nice.
AC/DC?
He was in Seattle and they did there was their last tour ever, and the guy he was working for was like he bought the entire office tickets because he wanted to see him, and he took his entire office, including my brother, up to see AC/DC.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Yeah, for their
I'm
last
not
show.
gonna lie, that's actually pretty dope.
That's pretty cool
Yeah,
for a
right.
boss to do, right?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. My boss got some fucking explaining to do, man. Fucking, it's my
Yeah,
goddamn
no.
AC/DC tickets.
No, that's really cool. I wouldn't mind that.
Right.
I like some AC/DC when I was younger, actually. Not gonna try to front.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
yes. I mean, I feel like they're that band. Like as a kid, you're like, hell yeah.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, a little older. They seem just a tad corny for,
Yeah.
Angus's voice is just a tad uh over dramatized, I guess. But I do remember the main song I remember is Big Balls. My dad used to listen to that one a lot.
Nice.
Listen up, all you VIP peers.
And VI
We have a
players.
goddamn Patreon now.
It's so aggressive.
I did.
We have a Patreon now.
Yeah, motherfuckers.
And a Discord.
Yeah,
And a YouTube.
Discord. Come
But
join
no webcams yet.
No webcams. You can't see our beautiful face.
Not yet.
Yeah. Shout out to Enormous Adam on Discord. Hit him up if you need a Discord. He did a great job on ours. It looks cool. But guess what? You won't know how it looks unless you join that bitch. If you would, please join our Discord and our Patreon. It would be really cool of you. We would love you forever. We'd still love you forever, even if you don't.
Yeah.
But
you join the Patreon, you're going to get stickers. You get to dehumanize me.
Yes.
You want to know what that means?
Go look at the Patreon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it.
That's
and
it.
subscribe to our fucking YouTube channel.
Yeah. Comment.
Thank you.
Review. Subscribe. We love you more.
All that stuff. Do everything that you do for all the people that you love on YouTube. Do it for us too.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We love you. So Barry, what were your early memories of music that you started to kind of find on your own, or may have gotten you into the rabbit hole of kind of what you do now?
So yeah, there's like, I've talked about this kind of thing before with like friends and stuff, even, and just like my bandmates and stuff like that. I think in middle school was when I started like getting into more like modern, like rock, like pop punk adjacent type music. And the first I think the three bands I would think of would be like Blink-182, Green Day, and My Chem.
Yep.
And it was in that order as well.
Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah. And like, because Blink was the one I discovered even as a kid, because like they were so massive with like What's My Age Again and stuff like that.
Still
All,
to this
all the small
day.
things.
That's insane how fucking huge they are to this day.
Oh yeah. No, it's wild. Like when you really think about it and contextualize that, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being like a little kid and seeing like that on MTV and stuff like that. But in middle school, I remember those three bands were in succession. Like they had like their time as my favorite band, if that makes sense.
For sure.
And then My Chem is still my favorite band, probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Is that how you discovered them? Just because they were very big and were like commercially successful. Is that kind of how you discovered them? Okay.
Yeah. Blink, or do you mean like Blink-182, or do you mean like?
Yeah, any of them, I guess.
Yeah, any of them. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like, okay. So Blink. Like I said, like as a kid, I saw stuff with them, but like middle school, I just remember seeking it out and kind of returning to that, and then like listening to all their music. But Green Day, I think it was definitely like, it was like MTV and stuff, because it was very like American Idiot and all that.
Yeah.
My Chem, I remember seeing them casually like on MTV and stuff, but the Black Parade was when I got really into them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were opening, I can't remember, I always get it mixed up. It was either the opening of the MTV Awards, they performed Welcome to the Black Parade, or it was like the Spike TV horror movie awards, they performed that as well. It was one or the other. I can't remember which one I saw, but one of them I did see, and I was hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they like I became obsessed and like went out and like I remember going to Target and buying the Black Parade. It was one of the first albums I bought.
Nice.
Yeah. What was it about those bands? I mean, at least at that time, that sort of resonated with you, and you just saw it, and you were like, "That's it." Because I know what my experience was with my early bands that I liked, so I was
right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think it was just, I don't know, like at that time, those bands were it felt so new and fresh to like my ears as like a kid, you know?
Yeah.
Like very like high energy, like sometimes edgy to an extent.
Right.
And that's the thing with like My Kim. I think it grabbed me in the from the just the theatrics and the like.
Very theatrical for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, that was
I
definitely
think
like the big thing.
My Kim is like every theater kid's wet dream.
Oh, for sure. No, 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 for sure. It's um, yeah, like I don't know. It just, and I think it was that like that the mix of like the dramatics and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah,
with the Black Parade, it like connected to my childhood because it had that classic rock influence on it
for sure.
with stuff like Queen,
Hmm.
um, which I was also like I loved as a kid. So there was that familiarity combined with something that felt totally fresh to me. Um, yeah, it was just I don't know. I was always taken by it. I also think I always tell people this. And it's like half a joke and like half like serious. Like my Kim was definitely a big part of my first like memory of gender expression and
Yeah,
like even like sexuality and stuff like that as well as a
Okay.
kid. It was very like it like opened my eyes in a way
yeah.
and felt
Hmm.
like oh wow I really connect to this,
I
you
think
know.
that's one thing that I really like about My Kim is they have that message of, be who you are, don't be ashamed of who you are, stuff like that, just very,
Yeah,
very love yourself type of vibe.
right. Without it ever really coming across as corny, which is
Yeah,
like
and
hard to
corny
do.
or
Mm.
very like what is that word I'm looking for? Like very like fuck.
Gimmicky, or what are you
No,
looking
not
for?
gimmicky. So like self, not it's the
Self-indulging,
yeah,
self-promoting.
self-indulging, like
Okay.
without being
Like kind of contrived, kind of like
conceited.
yeah, conceited. Yeah, I get
Yeah,
that.
like that.
Okay,
Like
okay,
very,
okay.
without being conceited, it's like
Got you. Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
they
It's
yeah,
sincere.
it's
Yeah, I got
sincere.
you.
Yeah.
No, I get it because I feel like whether you're even aware of it or not, I feel like with a lot of artists, you can tell when it's not sincere.
For sure.
You know, like you just feel it most
Hmm.
of the time. Like you're, just, I don't know, but like with them, it always like rang true, and they always seem like a band that was just kind of did what they want, which is
Hmm.
also really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Because
Um,
their albums, I be honest, I didn't listen past the Black Parade, but
that's a common thing.
their first three
Yeah, yeah,
albums were
yeah.
very different. Very, very different.
I
I think the most structured album they did was Three Cheers, where every song had a similar vibe to it.
yeah, I I always yeah, like I always tell people like I think that Three Cheers is probably as far as like the amount of great songs and like what they were doing with that record is probably their best record. But I think the Black
Yes.
Parade as a cohesive like art piece
Yeah.
is so good. Like it's such an amazing concept
Yeah.
that it's kind of its own thing,
For sure. Yeah,
you
I
know.
completely agree. I know a lot of
Um,
people uh love Three Cheers. No,
yeah,
Black Parade. They
yeah,
love
yeah,
Black
yeah.
Parade, but Three Cheers is like their favorite.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah. That's kind of how I am. I think because I have that like because the Black Parade was like the first one I super like
The
got
nostalgia.
into. Yeah, the nostalgia and also just like yeah, just like the way that album works as it's like its own thing is really cool.
You found it at the
And
right time.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Um, even like it's funny because like you said, you didn't listen past that record. Like Danger Days was an album that I wasn't into when it came out, really, but in the past few years, I've revisited it and I actually like it a lot more, and I kind of grew a respect for it. It's still not like my favorite album,
Hmm.
Hmm.
but it is cool. Like I think they like it was kind of like with the rest of their discography. It's really cool that every album is very different from the one before it. And I respect when artists choose to do that because it's
Yeah.
really easy. It's easy to get into your comfort zone and just keep putting out the same thing, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think it's really cool when bands will be like, okay, we're just gonna really push ourselves and change the image, the sound, everything.
Yeah, I think
It's really cool.
there are albums, there are bands that release albums that you find when you're going through things in your life that just they really tap
Yes.
into the things you're going through, and it's fine to enjoy those albums and nothing past that, or it's fine to go back and revisit those albums, whatever. But
Yeah.
like, you know, I just it's a really cool thing that, the way music, different albums speak to people and
Yeah,
help people
absolutely.
I
and
agree. Yeah, no, I agree.
yeah. But
Speaking of, let's get some of those.
I was gonna say, I think you have to like set Blink-182 apart because they literally joked their way into mainstream.
True. Which that's so true. No, no, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like they dick and fart joke their way
Yep.
into the hearts of America. Um, but also that kind of comes with like that's what my favorite Blink album is. Like the self-titled, untitled album, probably because
Mhm.
it's not that so much.
Yeah.
Even though I think that like you know, Enema of the State and like Take Off Your Pants and Jacket and stuff like that are great albums. I don't know. I think that like if I like my song for Blink-182 is Stockholm Syndrome.
Stockholm Syndrome.
It's my favorite Blink song. It's
Yeah.
so sick, and it's like kind of the only one they have like that. I feel
Yeah.
like.
A band that can go from like I fucked your mom to writing songs like Adam's song and Stay Together for the
Oh
Kids that
yeah,
really like
yeah.
fuck you up emotionally.
Hmm.
That's a great band.
That's impressive. Yeah, no, it is straight up. It's so impressive.
Yeah.
And like you said, like Adam's song, like especially at the time when that came out, I can't even imagine like what that was like for the fan
No,
base. So it had to
absolutely.
be
Yeah.
like a jarring left turn for sure.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
excited about their new album for
yeah,
sure.
even that one. I think that one's gonna have some tough songs on it too, just
Yeah,
because
yeah,
of the things that all three of the band members have been through throughout
yeah, for sure.
their time apart. So I think it's gonna have
Yeah,
some pretty
yeah,
good songs on it.
I agree. I've enjoyed everything
But it's also
they've
going to
put
have
out so
their
far.
jokey nature as well. Just
Yeah,
watching the making of their music video.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Anyway, let's get a Blink song. Oh,
Oh
you
yeah.
did Blink.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Stockholm
Green Day.
Syndrome. Yeah, Green Day.
Um, it's a long song. I'm gonna go with Jesus of Suburbia.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's a good
I,
one.
it is.
Yeah.
I love that album so much. I remember, like I said, being super obsessed with that record when it came out, and that song is fantastic.
You know,
I was, yeah.
go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, no, no. Go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
me and Adam have known each other for like 20 years, and
Oh, nice.
there was an episode we did not too long ago where he told me that he was a fan of this album, and that kind of shocked me a little bit.
Oh,
American Idiot.
oh yeah. Oh, dude. I don't think I could anymore, but
Yeah,
at that point in my life, yeah, I could sing the whole album to you.
that's crazy,
Not miss
man.
a word.
I
Yeah.
never knew that.
Yeah. I probably kept it well hidden.
Yeah.
I was like a weird, like, oh, it has to be so heavy. Like I was
Oh,
really
gotcha.
dumb when I was
Yeah.
younger.
It was either
That makes
It was
sense.
an, it was an
Heavy
image
Screaming,
thing.
Michael Jackson, or NSYNC. That was it.
That was it.
Hell yeah.
Now
Hell yeah.
I'm older. I don't give a shit anymore. What?
I think, well, yeah, I think that everyone kind of goes, anyone who grows up and they're like really into music, in a way where it like becomes a part of their personality,
Yeah.
I think everyone has that because for me, like I had that in middle school, but in high school, I got into like heavier, like eventually like much heavier like stuff, but at first like stuff at least that like stuff like Silverstein and Chiodos and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alisana and like stuff like that. Because then eventually you get into that getting to heavier music and you're like, oh, I'm not going to listen to anything but heavier music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
And
dude's
then
scream
yeah.
always made me laugh, but it went so fucking hard. Alisana.
Oh no, that's fair. We opened for them actually super recently.
That's sick. That's sick.
It was
That's
great.
really
It was
cool.
really fun.
His
Yeah, it
scream
was.
when it came in like on oh shit. What's the name of that song, Adam? Where he's like you're everything. That one.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Apology.
Yeah.
That
That's
song,
it.
when he comes in, it makes me laugh so hard. But it goes so fucking hard though.
It really does.
like
Yeah.
it sounds
Oh, for sure.
amazing, but
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just like catches you off guard with that scream.
I haven't been able to actually see them live. Like I've been going through the Rolodex of
Oh
all the
wow.
bands I want to see, and they're one that I've just never been able
They're
to see.
they're honestly they're I feel like they're underrated as a live band. They're actually really solid. They're really
Yeah.
Oh,
fun.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're an interesting band because I do feel like they're one of those that they were so close to being like they were a big band like in their at their
Hmm.
peak, and they just like I feel like they got so close to being absolutely massive. But I think that everybody in the band had like kids and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. I feel like that's probably a big part of why they didn't keep going in that way.
Yeah.
Um, but I think they seem content like having their like they have like a solid cult fan base that supports them in whatever they do. So
Hmm.
like so that's cool.
Yeah. The
That's all you can
Alessandro
ask for
Army.
really. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like playing with them was really cool and absolutely definitely like a full circle like oh this is like a dream come true because me at 15 would be losing my shit.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Uh, let's get some My Kim on here, and if you need to put more
Okay.
than one song, feel free.
Okay.
Put
Okay.
however many you need.
I'm gonna okay. Um, I'm also steering away from trying to go for like the obvious answer,
For
you know.
sure.
But also like these, I'm gonna give you, might give you three, just because My Chem is my favorite band.
That's perfectly
Um,
fine.
okay. I'm gonna go with Sleep in the Black Parade, which we actually covered that at our EP release the other day. Uh,
Nice.
yeah, yeah. We were like, I was like, our name's Sister Sleep, like we can't not.
Oh, my
Um,
wife was a huge My Kim fan as well, but
nice, nice.
she said there's the one song she would never listen to on that album is I think it's Mama or Cancer. I don't remember. Which one was it? Cancer? Yeah, she said she will not
That's
listen to that
fair.
song.
That's fair. It's one of those songs you you're rarely in the mood for that song, you know?
Yeah,
Like it's a good song. It's just yeah. Um but yeah, I think Sleep, Kill All Your Friends is another one. I think that's a B-side from that record, but I love that song a lot. Me and my keyboardist slash other vocalists of the band. We've known each other for like 15 years, I think 16 years. And
Sweet.
damn,
yeah, we went to high school together and we met through being fans of Mike Kim and Silverstein and stuff like that, and
nice.
Chiodos. And we always like wrote music together even then. And it just came around full circle where we ended up starting this band together. And yeah, it's really cool. We finally saw Mike Kim last year. We never did before that. And that was an amazing experience
That's
for sure.
awesome.
Yeah, it was unreal. Let's see, I'm trying to think of a good third one. Thank you for the Venom. Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, one from each era.
Yeah.
You also mentioned what was it that got you into the heavier music? You mentioned like
Okay.
Alisana and
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so I always tell people this because it's very funny to me at least. When I found, I think one of the first bands I can think of that were had screaming in their music that I was a huge fan of. They're still one of my favorite bands, like top three probably is Silverstein. And I think I discovered them through it was Smile in Your Sleep, but it was a music video somebody made using clips of Are You Afraid of the Dark?
oh, nice. That's so fucking cool.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's still on YouTube. I could be wrong, but I
I have to
think it
look that up because
is.
I
Yeah,
loved Are You
yeah,
Afraid
yeah.
of the Dark when I was a
Oh, it's
kid.
so good. Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
love that
that
show. It's
shit
so good.
was so spooky.
Yeah, it's so good.
That was like the scariest shit. Was that Nickelodeon
Oh, for
ever
sure.
released, dude?
Yo, dude, yeah.
No, for
Looking
sure.
back,
As
I'm
a
like, how the
kid,
hell was that on there?
no,
Right?
it scared the hell out of me. Like, there's some specifically that are like core memories that scare the hell out
Yeah,
of
yeah,
me.
for sure.
Shit, the fucking spooky ass swimming pool alone was enough to scare the shit
That
out of
one. No, 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 that one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
me. So it's
Um,
pretty much the equivalent to an AMV. Gotcha.
yeah, yes, exactly. That no, for sure. That's exactly. I think I said that the other day because me and I was talking to my bandmates about it, and they were like, "Oh, so basically an A&B." Yeah. Um, but yeah, it was that, and then MySpace was a huge part of like because you found it was
Oh
so
yeah.
easy. The things I miss about MySpace was that like if you liked one band, it was so easy to find other bands that sound like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The accessibility was nuts, especially for that genre. So I remember finding them and like and then from there finding like Chiodos and all that kind of like stuff. Chiodos is also like was like, especially through high school, my favorite band. Craig Owens being like a huge influence on me, like
Hmm.
vocally and all that kind of stuff. But then like actually the first show I saw live was it was a co-headliner of Chiodos and Silverstein, and the openers were a Skylit Drive, Alisana, and Escape the Fate.
Holy
Wow.
shit, what a
Fucking
show.
stacked,
Yeah.
right?
You said that was your
Yeah.
first show?
Yeah, yeah. I was
Holy
15,
crap.
I was 15, 16, I think.
Damn.
And yeah, because a friend of mine had invited me, and that was right at the age where I was getting into that music. So
Right.
that show is what sealed it for sure.
Yeah, at that point, is that kind of what did it for you? And you wanted
Yes.
to sing as well, or were you
Oh,
already
for
kind of
sure.
dabbling in that?
I was definitely already dabbling and wanting to do that, but doing that is what, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because they look
Um,
just so fucking cool and like they have so
yeah,
much power, it feels like.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And like at that time, it was like a big venue too. Like for them,
Right.
it was like those bands were at their like peak popularity probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
as
no,
a
that's a
whole.
lot of sick bands, and they were
Oh
all, yeah,
yeah,
they're all really good.
because it was 2008.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, yeah. From there, yeah, I was like addicted, and I was going to live shows all the time, and
Mm.
I went to Warp Tour every year, like 2009 until the final year. Um,
Nice.
yeah.
I think I went 2009 and 2007.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Those were like amazing times. The bands that
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
I saw Escape the Fate there as well. I saw,
nice.
which I didn't like Escape the Fate at the time, but they put on a
Mm,
really fucking good show.
yeah,
That was
makes sense.
pre-prison Ronnie. Fuck. Like I'm gonna be honest, like fucking hate that guy.
That's fair.
But
Jeez, Augie, you're gonna
I'm gonna
mess up our
be
interview
I
opportunity.
know. I'm gonna be real. He's a showman. He can put on a great show. From what
Yeah,
I saw in
that's
2007 to, the whole fucking band just killed it. The drummer,
yeah.
like the little fucking Slash lookalike. He was like Slash on drums because he had the long
No, for
hair in
sure.
his
Yeah,
face.
yeah, yeah.
I don't remember if he wore a hat or not, but
Didn't need to, you know.
yeah, it didn't need
It's
to.
like-
He killed it. I was really impressed by their stage presence.
Nice. Yeah,
But Ronnie's just a fucking douche. So
yeah. It's unfortunate.
yeah,
Actually,
it
yeah.
really is.
No. I get it. Some
Was that
people want to.
Craig or Ronnie that you saw?
Craig,
You saw Craig.
actually, it was like right when he joined too,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like
yeah.
it was like that tour was like most of the set was old Escape the Fate songs. They
Hmm.
played, I think, maybe two or three that were new, like the Flood and stuff like that. Um, yeah, yeah, it was like right after he joined.
That's sick. I didn't get to see Craig. I would have loved to see Craig up there
That
though.
was cool. It was cool. Yeah, I think at that time, like that was when I was really into them as
Yeah,
well. Yeah, that show definitely was like a path altering experience for
yeah,
sure.
for sure. I mean, Chiodos and
Yeah, yeah.
who else did you say was up there?
Uh,
Silverstein. Oh, God.
Silverstein, a Skylit Drive, and Alisana.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh
wild.
man, that's wild.
Mhm.
And I know Silverstein is like a great starter band because
Oh yeah, no, they're
especially like
fantastic.
Smile in Your Sleep. That's like perfect mix of like,
Yeah,
singing
both. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah.
and screaming. It's
Yeah, Silverstein to me, like, and it's one of the reasons they're one of my favorite bands is because they really are just like they have like that sound. They have it so down perfect. Like that
yeah,
as far as yeah, like they're a perfect balance. They're not afraid to get heavier, but they're also not afraid to do like a pop punk song or
yeah,
even like an acoustic ballad. Like they just do what they want. And I think they also are one of the few bands that has put out such an amazing discography where they don't really have a bad record.
yeah.
And they have so many albums. You would think
So
there would be a
fucking
bad
many.
record. So many. It's always good. Like like at worst it's like, oh, this wasn't quite this, but like it's yeah, they're
Yeah,
fantastic.
mid
One of
for
my
them is like fucking superior. Like,
yes, no, 100%. It's wild
yeah.
actually, and also I think that live they're better now than they ever have been.
I mean, they had what, like
Um,
20 fucking years, 20
yeah,
years to fucking
Hmm.
work
yeah,
on this
yeah,
shit.
yeah. But you got to think like, hey, compare that to a lot of bands from that era who, I'm not saying they're bad, but like you could tell like it's less of a they've been doing this whole time, but like sort of like the comeback thing.
Yeah.
While Silverstein has never not been putting
They
out
don't have
music.
to come back
Yeah,
because they've
no,
been here the whole time.
yeah, yeah. Like they don't. It's very fascinating because
Yeah,
they don't feel like a throwback band because they've just sort of been pushing through it no matter what. And also like
yeah,
their music now feels like a natural progression too. Like it doesn't feel like a throwback.
yeah.
It feels like they're just making, what they make now, and it's cool. I've
For
always been a
sure.
huge fan of that. Yeah.
Well, let's get some Alice on here.
I'm gonna say the Murderer.
It's a great album.
It's my favorite for sure. It was the one that like I was into them before the album came out, but when that album came out, it like got me back into them. Like they became like my favorite band around that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember seeing them on that tour cycle. It was like the one. It was for the Emptiness, and they all had like they were all wearing suits and shit like that.
Oh, that's sick.
It was so sick. It was so sick.
Silverstein?
That's so tough. Like we just said, like there's
So
so
many.
many good songs. Yeah, it could be anything. I think I'm gonna pull from Dead Reflection because that's like a top three Silverstein album for me, and I think it's underrated. Mirror Box, I think. I love that song a lot.
And then Chiodos.
Chiodos, I gotta go with the one. Where's Best Friends with Memory Defined.
Yep.
Yeah. That
It's it,
breakdown is so fucking
it's
good.
that and like the main riff.
Yeah.
It's such a sick song. Like it's like really short.
Hmm.
It very much encapsulates that time. I think
For
very
sure.
well too. Yeah, no, that song's sick. I know.
You,
I know. Me and my bandmates have been talking about covering that live at some point, and I
that's
want to really bad.
sick. There was a time when like so you mentioned MySpace and it dawned on me. We've talked about this so much, and it just now dawned on me. We had one hell of a music scene in my little bitty town when we were growing up, from like
Right.
2005 to like 2010. We had so many great bands in our little bitty city, and I think the death of MySpace is what killed the music scene in our town, Adam.
Yeah,
I wouldn't doubt that.
Now that I think about it, I'm
100%.
pretty because it was so easy to find bands through MySpace. And now Facebook
Yeah.
took over and like with the algorithm, with everything going on, it's so hard to find local acts through
Yeah.
Facebook.
It's you have to like actively try, and I don't think
Yeah.
most people want to do that.
Yeah. Whereas on MySpace, you could just literally scroll down to their top friends.
Yeah.
Nine
Yeah.
times out of 10, it's going to be another local, like another 10
Right.
local bands that you could just
Yeah.
click on.
It's it's really why like I think TikTok in a lot of ways is the closest thing we've gotten in a long time.
Yeah.
It's still not quite as accessible, but I do think that people who are on TikTok and they want to find music, using that for that makes sense, and it's super easy to do.
Yeah.
And with how good the algorithm is on TikTok, like it does work. But I think I miss having a social media outlet, I guess, that was so band forward
Yeah.
and artist forward. I can't, obviously because I was a kid, so like I can't even imagine what it was like to be like an artist and in a band at that time. 'Cause
It was
it seems
amazing.
like,
I mean, like
yeah,
I
yeah,
wasn't in a band, but just being a
yeah, a
consumer
part
of
of that.
that,
Yeah, yeah, right.
it was amazing. Because literally, you could click on a band from your city, and
Yeah,
underneath there would be another 10 bands from your city
yeah,
that
yeah,
you could just click on their profile, and they'd all have music up, and they'd all played shows at the same venues. Almost like monthly, there would be a show.
Hmm.
right.
It was such a sick fucking time, but I'm now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure the death of MySpace is what killed our little bitty town
Yeah,
music scene.
that
Yeah.
makes sense. That makes sense. Unfortunately,
Hmm.
you know.
That's crazy. But
Hell of an epiphany to have, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, because you mentioned it and
Yeah.
I was like, damn, you know what? Because you said something about, how easy it was. And I was like,
Hmm.
it just clicked like right there. And it's like,
Yeah.
15
fuck,
years
man.
later, we figured it
15, we
out.
figured out what killed our music scene. It was, oh man, that's like just the nostalgia of like being able to go to those shows and like just hang out with friends and find great
Yeah.
music. And
Right. Right.
it's such a great time.
Yeah.
Let's get into a little bit of like Sister Sleep and how y'all
Yeah.
started
Yes.
and everything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. So, Sister Sleep really came together from the remains of an old project, which was called The Keepsake.
Hmm.
That was a project I was in with my keyboardist and most of that band. Like, okay, so The Keepsake was a band from like 2017 till 2020, roughly. But
Mhm.
when I started that band, it was me and a friend of mine, and it was one of those that had like a revolving door of like members and
Gotcha.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like it was one of those that like where we found like some other members, and then that original friend that I started with ended up walking away from the project, and then gradually moving on from there. Yeah, it became what Sister Sleep did was like we were in the middle of still making music as The Keepsake in 2020. Then everything shut down with the pandemic. Um, which The Keepsake did have. I have a really solid last show because we opened for Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, um,
Nice.
which that was really fun.
Yeah.
It was like it was like a sold out show. It was really cool. But everything shut down, and we were sort of, I lived with like, and I still do live with like most of my bandmates, but at the time, like, so I lived with half the band, and we were discussing like what we were gonna do, how we were gonna keep things moving as much as we could without obviously like going anywhere. Which, God, thinking back on that, like it was so crazy the way like everyone, no matter how successful you were, was like you just had to sit there, you know.
Yeah.
Like the music world, like everything was shut down, so it
Just
was
came to a
just
halt.
yeah, it was crazy. It was very like unfortunate, but also like comforting to know that it wasn't just us, you
Yeah.
know. But super bizarre because of that. But we right before that happened too, we had recorded like three songs that were supposed to be the
Mhm.
keepsake songs. But we ended up deciding in like 2021, like we were still like trying to figure out what we wanted to do with them, and then we had the realization that we kind of wanted to start over as far as like a new project, something fresh with a more cohesive vision and a more cohesive aesthetic
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. Because like the keepsake was like fun, but like you can tell it's like friends playing music with no real like we don't know what we're doing. We're just kind of like playing whatever we want.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It was just like a
Sure.
hey, let's do something a little more deliberate. So that's really what happened with that. The keepsake just sort of disbanded, and then we started over. Like we made like a new page and all that kind of stuff, and it was reborn that way.
That's what's up.
Yeah, yeah.
Keepsake sounds like I screened a little bit of it. They sound like y'all took a heavy influence from Silverstein with that
Oh yeah,
project.
for sure. Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was a very like influenced by Silverstein. It's funny because like we still are now. It's like it's just I don't know. It's just like a lot of what we're doing now. There's a lot more thought put into it, I think,
Hmm.
and a lot more like collaboration with like our producer that we work with most of the time, and
Yeah.
just a bunch of different things.
I think when you start those first couple of bands, the mirror
Yeah.
image of your favorite band always shines through because you don't really
Oh, for
know
sure.
exactly what you're doing.
Yes. No. 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 100%. Yeah, I agree. Like, I think when you're in a band, like, I think that's like a normal thing. Like, you're always like kind of striving to be like your favorite band in a way.
Hmm.
Um, But if you get lucky, you keep doing it, and eventually it doesn't matter that you're pulling from it because you have found your own
Your own
like
sound, yeah.
yeah, you found your own version of that no matter what, even if you were to go, hey, we should do a song like this, you're still going to do it in your own way because you inherently are different people, you're different, you know what I mean?
For sure.
I think that's one thing. I think some artists get like hung up on that a little bit. Like I think sometimes a lot of people get in their own way with trying to be unique. Like obviously
Mhm.
you should never like rip off like an artist like that. That's something different. But I think that a lot of people get in their own way and they're worried about like, well, I can't be too inspired by this because then it's not original. And like it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter. Like it really doesn't. Like to be inspired by something and then make your version of that is okay.
I think that's like
Like
the biggest compliment ever, you know,
yeah, see, yeah, that's how
to
I do.
somebody.
Yeah,
And then that goes for like art or you know, paintings or any form of
yeah,
art, music
right,
or
right.
otherwise. I think what makes people want to do those things is past people, you know.
Yeah,
You see the cool shit somebody does and you're like, hey, I want to try that. And,
yes,
you know, a star is born.
Yeah, I mean, we had that band Augie that we spoke to, The Safest Ledge, and they had like a whole playlist basically of all the songs and artists that influenced. It was either a
Yeah.
particular song or an EP or an
hmm
album or something.
Hmm.
right,
And
right.
we listened to it and we were like, oh, yeah, we can totally see how all of this kind of
Yeah.
ended up, getting into their new material. And there
Right,
was
right.
nothing wrong with it. We were just like,
Mm-mm.
this is what you were listening to while you
Yes,
were writing and recording, so
I love
naturally
that.
going to
Yeah.
bleed into it. And I mean, they
Yeah,
didn't rip anything off. It was
exactly. Yeah, that's my thing. Like, I love that. Like, I love that. I love hearing what artists were like listening to and inspired by when creating their own
hmm
music because
hmm
it's cool to like connect the dots.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
think
like you said, like it doesn't sound at all like the same, but
for
it's like,
sure.
oh, but I can definitely hear it, and that's really cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
think
song I think I think it was The Arsonist that we reviewed for y'all
Mhm.
a couple months ago.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know, I said that y'all were in the same vein as like The Used and things of that nature.
Oh,
And
we've gotten so many comparisons to the Used. Like
yeah,
since y'all said that, it's been like every other person,
nice. Well,
which
I
is
was
so sick.
thinking,
I love the Used, so yeah. I
I was
mean,
gonna say, is that's not the worst thing in the world.
no,
So
no, I
you
love the
know,
Used.
I do
They were one
too.
of those other bands that like I was a huge like same
yeah,
around that same time as Mike Kim and all that. I was a
Yeah, it
huge
was
Used fan. Still am.
and it wasn't like a complete rip off or anything like that. I didn't say it as like, oh, you know, whatever.
No, no,
I said
no.
it because there were moments in the song that reminded me of like The Bird and the Worm, like that album.
Yes.
There were
Yeah,
there
yeah,
were
yeah.
moments where like the vocal runs maybe sounded similar or something like that, that it wasn't like a complete cut and paste thing. It was just like y'all drifted into that lane a little bit and it was really nice. I
Yes.
really enjoyed it.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Used, like me and several of my bandmates are huge Used fans, and like I think a lot of the because it's not even really conscious when we're writing the songs, but I think a lot of the things that sound similar are probably, like you said, a lot of the vocal delivery and melodies and stuff.
Yeah.
I also think a lot of like the combination of theatrics and electronics kind of
Yeah.
does it, especially that album.
For sure. Yeah, that album's
Yeah,
so good.
yeah. Because I mean, like as far as like our music, there's a million bands that we're like influenced by, but like Bring Me the Horizon is a band that we're heavily inspired by. But
One of the
granted,
bands that just changes it up constantly and
yeah,
they
yeah,
kill it every fucking time.
yeah. There's a reason they're one of the biggest bands in the world.
He
Because like
is so fucking talented.
it's insane. Because I just can't respect that band more. Because like
Yeah.
they're like we were saying with Silverstein, it's just like on a more massive scale.
Yeah.
They just do what they want.
I
Like
madly respect him for that. And
same.
it's a type of respect to where even if I don't personally like the
Yes,
thing that he
yes.
put out, I
Mhm.
still like 100% respect the shit out of him for doing that
Yeah,
because
I feel that.
yeah, he does it without concern. Like he doesn't give a
Yeah,
fuck what anybody says.
yeah,
Like that is what he's doing at the time.
yeah. They're very much like the they're also like God, for like the past 10 years now, maybe more. They've been like the tastemaker band.
Yeah, there was
Like
one song they put out. I don't remember what it was, but everybody was ranting and raving about it. It was like it was recent, and I listened to it and I said, "Yo, that sounds like fucking My Kim, 100%."
oh
And
yeah,
then
I
I
think it was
went,
I think it was oh God, I think it was Lost.
yeah, I think that's what it
Because
was. And I
it did,
went and
yeah,
I
yeah,
read
yeah.
an interview, and he was like, "Yeah, we totally ripped the fuck out of
Oh
My
yeah,
Kim."
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like,
for sure. But
and it
what's so
wasn't like a
funny?
rip off of like it wasn't
No,
like
yeah,
it was like a paying homage to him because they love My Kim.
yes,
So
yes. Which that's very much like how we operate with a lot of stuff. Because like we'll write a song and like we'll be with our producer and we'll be like, oh yeah, let's do this and like, what should we do here? Like, well, let's do the My Chem thing like this. And like, okay, cool, let's do that. It's just
yeah,
like it's very much an homage. Like that song, like the Bring Me song, doesn't yeah, it doesn't sound like any specific Mike M song, but it's
no,
like,
yeah,
oh, you can tell this part is very influenced by that, especially for a band that doesn't usually do that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's yes, that's sick. But Adam didn't get into the used until recently. He saw him live with his
Oh wow,
girlfriend. Yeah,
Yeah, I
oh
was
that's cool.
definitely a late adopter. My girlfriend liked them, and we went and saw them. They were touring with Coheed, and I
Oh sick.
always like to make like a playlist of the set list and listen to it. I was like, yeah, dude, the use is some
I
good shit.
Yeah, I do the same thing with going to shows. I always like especially if I don't know the band. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah,
okay, let me see what I can get into. I actually saw the Used recently as well. I think it was last year because they were with Rise Against and Senses Fail.
sick.
yeah, yeah,
It was so sick.
yeah.
Such
Yeah,
a good
I was
show.
a big Rise Against fan when I was younger.
Nice. Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, one of my guitarists is a huge Rise Against fan as well. Like one of his
Nice.
favorite bands.
There's something funny about Rise Against. There's this dude I fucking work with, and he's like he is your typical East Texan, you know. Adam,
Okay.
know you know what I mean by that, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ex-Marine, very like Republican,
Takes
and
himself
That's what
too
I was waiting
seriously.
for. Yeah.
yes, 100%. And he loves Rise Against. And I'm like, bro, have you ever listened to any of the lyrics in any of those fucking
Okay.
songs?
Okay. No shit.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
funny.
No, no, no. I that's something I talk about this band a lot, and like I've had this conversation about multiple bands before. The amount of cognitive dissonance that some people
Yes.
have with music
It's
Yes.
blows my fucking
insane.
mind.
It's
It
so
No,
insane.
really
it's
is.
just like how like so much of the fan base of Rage Against the Machine or System of a Down
Yeah.
also are like and I'm like how
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
how do you like I can't I guess just having the privilege of not having to think about it at all.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
don't, so they're
Maybe
just
not having to
whatever.
think, and I guess like
I
in
guess,
not
yeah.
very, and I mean this very loosely, things can be up to interpretation.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know
So
what you. No, no, no. You're right. Well, because like at the end
yeah,
of the day, well, no. Okay, I'll give an example actually. And it hasn't happened with us, but I worry about it. So on our new EP, we have a song called "The Venom You Spit,"
yeah,
and that song is a very like it's very like blatantly like an angry like queer anthem. That's very much like what I was going for with that. And it was being
okay,
very blunt, but I could see someone hearing it and taking it out of context and being like, "Hell yeah, brother!" And I,
yeah, yeah,
I just,
yeah,
and I
exactly.
just don't want that at all. So like, yeah, things are open. People are gonna see it through their own lens, no matter what. Which is why I take it in like as a band, like we're not a political band, quote unquote. We're not apolitical. Like we're not gonna like inherently. I think because we like half of like me and like half of our band is queer and or trans slash non-binary, whatever.
Yeah, okay.
So inherently, I feel like because that's like our existence is inherently like a thing, especially right now.
Yeah.
And I never want to mince words and like appeal to the wrong people just because it might get me some fans.
For sure.
Yeah,
I can't do that. Like it's why like whenever we play that song live, I usually try to point out like stuff about like trans rights being human rights and like just different things like that. Just to be like to make it even harder that if you don't agree with me, then I mean on this like if you're like against that, like I'm not gonna let you just like look the other way.
Yeah.
you know.
Right on. Yeah.
I th-
Um, yeah,
I think a lot of people fail to realize that art is a reflection of self. So if those are the things
yeah,
that you are going through, those are the things that you are going to write about and talk about.
yeah,
And whether or not somebody agrees with it or likes it, they aren't the ones going through the things that you're going through.
yes,
And
yes,
and it's not for them
exactly.
100%. You know, if you don't like
Right,
it, turn
right.
it off or shut the fuck up, you
Yes,
know,
yeah, I completely agree.
because it'll reach the ears that it's for. And
Yes, that's how I feel too.
yeah,
Yeah, it was one of those things that crossed my mind because like I can't wrap my head around a crowd full of like
yeah,
right wing people being like, oh yeah, killing in the name of, let's go.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I just, I, it just it's seriously just
If
yeah.
anything, I think if they went to a live show of some of these bands we mentioned, they might be like, "Oh, okay, I've not been
Yeah.
thinking of this
Yeah.
correctly."
Yeah. Well, like Rise Against
No,
is
it's so
like
funny.
100%. Like they literally have songs like talking about
Oh
how
yeah.
much they hate the fucking military, and this man is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
ex-Marine. Like, bro, like, there's no way that is up for interpretation. Like,
They left no room here.
yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe he's not even listening to like the words. He's
I
just
don't
like,
think so. I guess
"Oh, there's
not, dude.
No, no,
guitars.
no.
Let's go."
That's something that occurred to me too. Is that like I forget? Not everyone listens to music the same.
Hmm.
A lot of
Yep.
people do. A lot of people don't even hear lyrics. Like a lot of people
Yeah.
are like, "Oh yeah, drums, guitar, let's go."
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I've even noticed at shows people move to different instruments. Like some
Yeah,
people
yeah,
Yeah.
move
yeah,
to the
yeah.
guitar, some people, and when you do that, you look kind of goofy. But like, and some people move to the drums, which it looks a little more natural, and like people move to just different things. So
Right, right.
it wouldn't be hard to conceive that yeah, they don't even listen to the words or know what's being said.
Right.
Yeah. For sure. That's just insane, man. I like
Yeah.
uh fuck, I was gonna say something, but I forgot. But let's get some of the used on here before I forget.
Okay. I know I'm gonna pull from like their one of their first two records just
Oh
because those are like
yeah, I was gonna say the hardest opening song ever to an album is fucking Take It Away. I love that opener
yeah.
so fucking much.
Oh yeah, it goes so hard. It's like
Yeah.
unreasonably so. Yeah, but to be fair, both Take It Away and Maybe Memories from the
Yeah.
subtitle are both just such good
It's
opening
that
tracks.
fucking shotgun and Take It Away. I don't even know if
Oh
it
yeah,
is a
it's
real
so good.
shotgun or
Well,
not.
yeah,
Okay, I know it's like cocks and then just fucking hits you like a ton of bricks. Oh God, I
yeah.
love it.
We we God, like we actually on one of our songs on the new EP reference that song
Nice.
in the lyrics. Yeah, it's the song Lotus on our new EP, and it references the take it away
That's
line. There's like a lyric that does that vocal cadence a little bit, and it was like a
that's
deliberate thing.
sick.
I didn't know if anybody would notice. I didn't
Yeah.
know if anybody would notice, but like someone like reviewed it recently, and they asked me about it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely what that
Yeah.
is. Yeah. Um, but I think I'm gonna go with "Bury Myself Alive."
It's
Nice.
a good one. Yeah.
I got so lost like in our conversation. I forgot we were
Yeah.
like
Right.
lining up. Yeah. So this is gonna sound maybe corny or cheesy, but like you mentioned sort of your band, some of the LGBTQ like
Yeah.
positive, all that stuff. What sort of roadblocks have you hit or have you found that it's been pretty I don't want to say easy, but like accepting
Right.
right, like playing the
It's
shows in the scene that you are.
right. No, no, that's not a bad question at all. It it's I've been lucky. Like we've been lucky that like Atlanta is a very queer positive city,
Hmm.
and honestly, like the response has been great. Like I think our shows, and it's been like a goal for our band, especially like for our local scene and stuff like that. To if we have any control of the bands being on it, like we very much want it to be like diverse, and we want it to be very like inclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very much like a deliberate thing. Like we always try to find bands that are up and coming that have LGBTQ representation, have like femme representation, people of color. Like we just want to make sure that we're highlighting people that might not get that otherwise. It's something we're very like cognizant about and try to like put that out there. And like I said, like the experiences of our shows around Atlanta, and we've only been playing shows for like a year now, which is crazy to me. Um,
Awesome.
but like they've all been so amazing, and I've had so many people come up to me afterwards telling me how they felt so like they felt so like warm and safe at our shows, and they felt like represented, and they just felt like it was a room full of people who were there for the right reasons and accepting and like everything
That's
like that.
awesome.
And it's super important because like you never want anyone to feel um pushed aside
For sure. Left
or
out,
anything
anything like
like
that.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
for sure.
So really we've been very lucky that Atlanta is a city like that. But it's definitely one of the things on our mind when going into other states, like in the Bible Belt especially.
Yeah.
Um, because we just finished our first like out of state run.
Hmm.
And we went from Birmingham, Alabama to Louisville, Kentucky to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, back to Columbus, Georgia, and then Atlanta. So it was like a 5 day run, and it was really great. I mean, like every show, it was like a smaller show, but like every show we managed to meet new people who really seemed to be into what we were doing and bought merch and were
That's
very
awesome.
kind. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a great experience.
I was gonna say, just like one thing that drew me to this sort of, large umbrella of this scene, this type of music, especially being
Mhm.
younger, was that I did feel like an outcast. I did feel different. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
necessarily relate to the bubblegum this or the,
yes.
bubblegum pop, or even on the rap side, like, oh, I've got all this swag, I've got all these women or men, whatever they're bragging about.
Hmm.
I did that isn't stuff that resonated to me. And so I think no matter what happens, there's going to be people that might be seeking what it is you guys are sort of your message, right? And so,
Right, right.
if they haven't found you yet, hopefully they do. And there's always going to be people that are going to be like, dude, yeah, Sister Sleep's doing like this. This shit's awesome. This
Yeah,
helps me. This makes me feel
yeah,
not so alone, or
Yeah.
whatever.
right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much like an important thing for me because like as someone like growing up, music was very much it's a cliche, but like genuinely, like music was like a life-saving thing.
For sure.
Um, dealing with
Yeah.
like numerous like issues growing up or like mental health or like anything else. Like
Hmm.
it's yeah, that connecting, that sort of catharsis is it's always been like a goal of mine.
Yeah.
Um, with like reaching people that really need to hear it most. And I've had people reach out to me and tell me like that, like telling me that whether it be a song or something we said during a set or anything that like they really needed to hear it, and they're like, and it's truly the most amazing thing.
Yeah. I think
Um,
one thing that I've personally grown on in like, so I was raised in a very like strict Christian home, stuff like
right.
that. Just very, very strict house. And like, it's gonna sound so fucked up, but like, I didn't think that like representation mattered that much
Hmm.
because like, it never dawned on me because the way I was raised, I guess, like it wasn't
Yeah,
something that I personally valued.
it's right.
And then when I got older and I had kids, you see like I have two brown kids and a white kid.
Mhm.
So, and they all like the dollies that look like them, or they all like
Yeah,
the things um that that represent them as
It's so
right.
children.
many things, man.
And it just
So many things.
clicked that it really
Yeah,
does fucking matter. Like
it matters.
at a
Yeah, it
very young
matters so
age too.
much.
At a very
Yeah,
young age, it matters. And
It
like
it matters. It like matters before the kid realizes it matters.
That's
Yeah,
exactly what
exactly.
I was gonna say. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that shit until I was older,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I was like, dude, what the hell? Like,
Yeah.
it's another one of those epiphany things. I was like,
Yeah, for
wow.
sure.
Right.
And like that's
It's
something that I had to like
learn.
yeah, exactly. Because like I
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
I wasn't raised on any of that
Hey, you
shit,
know,
you know?
yeah, no, I respect that a ton because like I mean, same with me to an extent at least. Like it's just one of those things. More people, I think the fact that you did it is really important, and like
Yeah,
props to you for that because like too many people go through their lives never questioning what they were taught growing up.
for sure.
You know what I mean? Like too many people really do like
I
they're taught
question
one
that shit
thing.
way too
Oh
much.
yeah, you have no, you but you have to like straight up
Yeah.
like I think that most people who are like ignorant or hateful a lot of the time, not all of them, but like most of them,
Mhm.
just never question it and they just think, well, this is what I was told, so that's the truth, and you don't have
Exactly.
any, and that's not a way to live your life.
Yeah.
No.
It's yeah, it's very much like you have to question things and you have to like people need to see past their own experiences, and I think that's a hard thing for people to do.
Exactly.
For sure.
It's not a you have to be willing to do it because it's like it's a very hard process because it's not
Yeah.
it's it's very much self-reflection, and I think tons of people just never do it because it's
Yeah,
hard,
well,
you know.
it puts you out of your comfort zone. It's not very
Yeah,
comforting
yeah, no, not at all,
yeah, and
not
like
at all.
Yeah.
again, people also don't like to be wrong either.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, no, for
And
sure.
that's pretty much what I've had to do my entire adult life is realize that there are some things that I've been wrong about.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And you know,
Hmm.
I am grown up enough to change those opinions and change those thought
Exactly.
processes,
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
you know.
Like
And
same here. Like
Absolutely.
it's just about like looking around and like seeing like what you're doing or like your belief system, is it doing like the greater good
yeah, is it
kind of thing?
harming
Like is it
people? My thought
yes,
process,
yes,
harming people or is it helping people? And
Yeah.
I want
yeah,
to help people. I don't want to hurt them,
yes, same. Right? Like
you know.
it's how like so many people really like would benefit from just getting out of their bubble.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Meeting new
know,
people.
like
And I've said that so many times. It's just
mhm,
live like life experiences are what
yeah,
helps people change. You know, these people here that I live and work around, they these are the type of people that live and die in their hometown. You know,
yeah, yeah,
they
right,
never experience meeting new people. They never experience
yeah.
meeting different people.
It's
It's all the same people, you know. They
it's the
all
whole
have
yeah,
this, yeah. It's their
mhm.
comfort bubble, right? And then
It's the whole
I
fishbowl kind of thing.
yeah,
You
Yep.
know,
I
yeah,
have
yeah,
been fortunate enough to get outside of that and meet people
yeah.
who are completely different from me. They have completely,
Mhm,
you know, either no religious beliefs at all or just a completely different religious belief or
mhm.
just uh, gender fluidity, all that shit. And I've
Yeah, yeah,
been, and then, you know, it makes you realize that those are just people trying to
yeah.
live their fucking lives.
Yeah.
100%.
You're always able to find common ground. And if you
Hmm.
can't, probably not trying
Yeah.
to.
Yes,
Um,
you're probably resistant to that.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
The older I get, the more understanding I've become. And that's just through experiences like things I thought I said I would never do or that
Yeah.
wouldn't
Yeah.
happen to me. They
Yeah.
did. Some were in my control, some weren't. That's life. And
Right.
then, you just become more understanding. And I try to be open to, I always try to find some form of common ground. And there are times that it's not always possible, but I still try.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all you can do.
Yeah.
You know.
Let's shift gears here and get let's get some of the music that you're currently enjoying on here.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. C Space Cowboy is a band I'm a huge fan of.
Love them, yeah.
They're so sick. Like, I'm super excited for like their new release to come out because like the new songs that they've put out have been killer. And I was like completely obsessed with the last record they put out. Just an amazing band that like I want to cross paths with desperately, you know.
For sure.
They're great. Save Face is another band that's like that just crushing it right now.
Safe face,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. I haven't listened to it yet. I need to listen to the new Creeper album because I'm a huge fan of them as well.
I've never heard of
Yeah, I think
Creeper. I've got to
Mm-mm.
check them out.
really check them out. They're like the new album they released is like it has a lot of like throwback like 80s like post-punk like rock kind of vibes, but like
Nice.
a lot of their stuff has very much like AFI influence, but it almost
Ooh,
like crosses like that sort of like goth punk kind of vibe mixed with like
Okay.
I like big choruses. Like they're just really cool. Like they're a big influence on me and like my like keyboardist actually.
Gotcha.
I'm
sweet.
like a huge fan of them. They're sick. But yeah, they're another band that I've listened to a lot. Recently, there's a band called A Sunday Fire. They were the band we were on tour with recently. They're like a small band. They're so good. Their last record they put out was called Death Rebirth. Um, it's just it has like this almost like it's not pop punk, but there's like a lot of like electronics and like kind of post punk elements in it, like some AFI sort of vibes. And I know the singer Chris is really influenced by like Glassjaw as well.
Nice.
They're really sick. Definitely recommend
I have to check them
the
out as
EP
well.
Death Rebirth. They're great. They're great. Let's see. Trying to think of some other bands that I've been listening to. Um, Always in my rotation, I love Julian Baker a lot.
Yes,
Um, she's probably like my favorite like singer songwriter.
for
Just like the
sure.
saddest music.
Yeah.
So good. Also, always listening to like Alkaline Trio. I know they put a new song out today. I haven't heard it yet.
Oh yeah, that's another band that I like. Oh, they were on that tour with the Used
Yeah, you
and
saw them live as
Coheed.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like,
Oh yeah, no, yeah, yeah.
I prepped like their set list and like listened to it, and I was like, holy shit, they're really good.
They're so
I
good.
like
They're
them.
so
I
good.
like them a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, they're fantastic. Mine was similar with them. I didn't get into them until Matt Skiba was in Blink
Yeah.
for that period of time, and I was like, oh, he's from Alkaline Trio. I should probably check them
Yeah,
out, and I did,
this
and I
was
was like,
like
oh
two
god,
within
I've
the
been missing
last
out.
2 years for me, so
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel you.
yeah, they're so good.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, fantastic. Very very like I love them in like they have like such like a stripped down like it's like pop punk, but like it's like darker.
It
Yeah.
is,
You
and I
know,
like how they
it's
alternate vocals, like
vocals. Yeah,
singing.
same.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, it's so good. Um, and I do want to shout out because they're like I know them personally, but they're also like one of my favorite bands doing it right now is the Calloused Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, just
Absolutely.
absolute nuts.
they're
I
getting
just
so
it's just
much
a
love.
fucking they're such a fucking powerhouse band.
For
Hmm.
sure.
They're so good. No, yeah, they're so
Just
good.
the talent radiating in that band is unreal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like they somehow just continue to just like keep like pushing it and like topping themselves
Yeah. No days off.
because like
No days
They
off.
are
yeah,
like
God,
on tour
they're
constantly.
oh yeah, and like the tours are just
They
crazy.
keep getting
Like when I saw
bigger and
like
bigger.
yeah, and they deserve it. Like because
For
when they were
sure.
like on the drugs tour, I was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
that's really cool. Uh, then now they're like opening for Protest the Hero, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's so cool. They're such an interesting band to me because like they're super talented, like just super unique, crazy, like erratic, dissonant, but like it seems to be like in a way that they're blowing up in a way that it's like they're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
They seem to be like very somehow accessible without mincing words or like without like watering it down at all.
For sure.
You know? Yeah, they're so sick.
I don't understand how they can tour so much and still find time to write an
God,
album. Like,
Yeah.
same.
time is their best
And
friend.
like,
Jesus Christ.
yeah, and it's not like their songs are like super simple, like
Yeah.
you know, like basic like structure. No, they're all like that shit.
Yeah, it's
So
insane.
I don't know how they do it either. Yeah, it's crazy. Um, but yeah, I definitely have been listening to them a ton, like from like Celebrity Therapist last year, and then like the new EP they have dropping like soon, like the singles have been
For sure.
so good. Yeah.
Let's start with See You Space Cowboy.
Life is a soap opera plot, 26 years running.
And then Save Face.
Save face. Another kill for the highlight reel.
Creeper.
I'm gonna go with Born Cold.
A Sunday Fire.
Knives Behind Backs forever.
Julian Baker.
Go home.
Alkaline Trio.
That's another band. There's like so many.
Mhm.
There's like so many albums to choose from. I'm gonna go with Crawl.
They got that song about dog shit and razor blades, right?
Radio, yeah.
Yeah. Callous Cowboys is the last one.
I think I'm just gonna go with their most recent single, Pushing the Pink Envelope.
I think we're getting close to wrapping it up. We like to do some homies. Is there any like homie bands that you want to shout out and put on here?
Anyway.
Homies bands, like friends?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Tiny Banshee, Dead in the Ditch, Cascadent.
We interviewed them. I think.
I was like,
Oh, hell
that
yeah.
sounds so familiar. Why?
Yeah, I think it was.
That's so funny.
Wasn't it you that put in the? I know his Pulses said something, and I think.
Yeah, because I know we
Yeah,
played.
because they asked if
we
there was
played
any
with,
bands, yeah, or any podcast
Pul-
that would.
yeah, because we played with Cascadent and with Pulses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also,
okay.
a fun fact: the Keepsake, like the band I was talking about earlier, I had started that band with the vocalist of Cascadent and Brad.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah,
We did that one
we go
back in August. Yeah.
Yeah, theirs was Anime
Oh, nice.
Credit Core. Anime Credit Core.
That's right.
It's the name of
Okay.
their playlist. Yeah.
It's all coming.
Nice.
A song from them.
Watch the Tail.
Adam, you want to do the thing?
Yeah. So,
We gotta
if
get the
you
songs.
okay. So what we also like to do, we like to open this playlist and close the playlist with a couple songs of your own
Okay.
band. So pick a song
Okay.
for the beginning and one for the end.
For the beginning, I'm gonna go with Coffin Karma because it was the first single we put out. And for the end, I'm gonna go with Lotus.
And also, so the listeners, if they're not familiar with you all yet, shout out your social media handles and anything you kind of got going on. I know recently an EP was released, so you can maybe
Yeah,
talk a little bit about that.
yeah, of course. Yeah, so you can follow Sister Sleep pretty much anywhere at Sister Sleep Band. All of our music is on Spotify, Apple Music, like anywhere you can stream music, you can find it there. We have some music videos on YouTube. We just released our new EP in Bad Faith. It came out on October 13th. And we're currently just in that phase of writing again and trying to prepare for next year.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
I think that's it. I think that's all we got. Appreciate you coming
Okay.
on and just talking to us.
Of
And
course.
I enjoyed this interview a lot. It was
Yes.
No, same.
very awesome.
Thank you so much. Great conversation.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
For sure.
If
Yeah, I
you-
really enjoyed it.
If you all have, new music or like a tour coming up, anything you'd like to promote, we'd be happy to help in any way we could.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I would love to do something like this again, and I'll definitely be in touch with y'all. I really enjoyed this interview.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we don't always make
Yeah.
a playlist. Sometimes we just
Yeah,
shoot
when
the
we have a
shit,
recurring
do
guest,
short
we just-
episodes. I mean,
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
We've had a bunch of reoccurring guests, no playlist, just shooting the shit, chatting it up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'd love to do that. This has been fun.
thank you so
Yeah.
much, and you have a nice night.
Yeah, thanks for your time.
You too.
Later.
Yeah.
Later.
All right, later. Bye.